name is Maralee Burnett. I am your astrologer, back with the messages for the week of August 18th, which will include a pretty incredible new moon in Virgo. So you want to make sure you stay tuned for all of the details for the week. And then at the end, we will get to that new moon in Virgo with a breakdown for every sign. Make sure that you're also clicking on that subscribe button now. That way you will get notification whenever I create new content, which I tend to produce on the weekends as far as these lessons go. However, every day I am posting a tarot card message, and along with that message there's usually a bit of astrology sprinkled in for the day as well. So you want to make sure that you subscribe to my channel and go out to my website, maraleeburnett.com. That way you'll have access to the videos from the past, as well as all of my written content, which will include the breakdown for all signs for this new moon in Virgo. Now, hopefully you've been following me, because we've been having some really incredible and crazy intense energy, and we're just going to dive right in because I want to make sure we can spend some extra time on that new moon in Virgo, since it is kind of a pivotal point in the year and in your life. So we don't want to waste time on anything else, and we want to get there as quick as possible. But can't skip over everything, so we're going to jump in here on Monday, October 18th, and here we see this continued conversation. It's starting to wrap up. Mercury has been speaking in harmony with Mars since last week, and so this is what is making your desire to communicate with others very strong. You wanting to speak up, speak loudly perhaps, because Mars inspires you. And of course, Mercury is communication. Leo is a very passionate communicator. And Mars right now in the sign of Libra, we call it at fall, but that doesn't mean it isn't effective, right? It's just that the Mars energy, instead of focusing on solely itself, because it rules Aries, is now helping you focus in on how you relate with other people. And it might even have you being very active with others because of the energy of Mars in the sign of Libra. It also can make justice very active. However, it may have a harder time being served because of the fact that, again, Mars isn't strongest here. So this energy's been going on for a while now. We have a few more days of it. And if you've needed motivation to speak up or to speak with other people, to come up with solutions for legal issues, this is going to be the time where you're hopefully ready to complete that work and move on and move forward. So that's a good way to get started here. And as we move on into Tuesday, we have some more positive influence. We see now the sun, also in the sign of Leo, is speaking in harmony with Chiron. Now, Chiron's gone retrograde. Chiron in the sign of Aries is about working on our inner dialogue about ourselves and our wounds to our self-confidence. And so now the sun is shining a light on your ability to heal in some way. And so if you, again, have been too hard on yourself, this is a day where you can step back and be kinder and gentler and release any painful issues from the past. This is a really good time to do that shadow work and to let that go. Whatever is still haunting you from the past, it's not serving you. And again, now's the time to let that go and move on from it. It also is a really good time, if you are a healer, for you to stand out, to make a difference in some way. And if you used to be a healer in the past of some way, this could be a time where you decide to reconnect and go back to doing that kind of work as well. So that is Tuesday. The other thing I want you to notice here on Tuesday is we've got Pluto right at 2 degrees exactly. So that means it's about to go back to the 1 degree mark. So it's just a good day to pause and reflect. This is about balance, and this is about the things that we do together with others. And what have you been seeing so far during this retrograde of Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, which, reminder, is still speaking in harmony with Uranus in Gemini, currently still moving forward, and also speaking in harmony with Neptune and Saturn. Also, both those are in retrograde. This is what we call this mini triangle, which I call it a hidden support system that you have in your life that is working behind the scenes for you and trying to help you move something forward in your life. But it's not quick, it's not fast. There's a lot of things we still have to review before we see the full potential here. But just keep trusting your gut and trusting that feeling and whatever's showing up for you. Slowly but surely, things are going to start moving forward for you. Speaking of moving forward, let's click ahead to Wednesday. And as I mentioned, just to call it out, right? The 1 degree is different than 2, right? 1 is about the self, 1 is about new beginnings, and reflecting on the self is what Pluto in Aquarius has you doing. What's your role amongst the groups that you're a part of? Where you're giving your power away in the groups that you're a part of. Those are all some conversation starters for yourself as we go back to continue this retrograde journey with Pluto. And Pluto will be the first of the outer planets to complete the work. Still some time to go, and still this connection builds between this Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune energy. And you'll notice too, Saturn now is at 0 degrees. So it's moved back to that reset point. So what we're seeing with all these outer planets is not things that we're doing to move us forward. It's things that we need to undo in order to move us forward. So there's still lots and lots of interesting work ahead. So continue to show up and do it. And things might feel good on Wednesday because of the fact that the moon's in its home sign of Cancer. And while it's here, it's speaking in harmony with Venus. But Venus and the moon together are also squaring that same point that the sun's highlighting. So there definitely is something about our inner wounds or about things in the collective that are very painful. And they would say that the way to heal is by being caring and nurturing to yourself. And again, not being so hard on yourself. So there may be some really strong emotions coming up on Wednesday, perhaps because of some kind of a painful event that's also in the spotlight because of the sun. Just remember to manage your feelings. Don't suppress them. And if you need to change the way you are treating yourself, today's a really good day to make that kind of a change. And then as we move into Thursday, this just becomes a stronger conversation. The moon has moved on and it is in the sign of Leo with Mercury. So this is helpful. Still, both are being helped along by Mars. So there is this opportunity when the mind and your intuition are in sync and your motivation to do something. So this is a day where you might decide to take some specific action, and maybe that action is a result of whatever this conflict is. Now this can be a woman also in conflict with a leader, women and men in conflict, right? That's Cancer and Aries conflicts. So there's something difficult in the energy. There is something that's challenging, but trust your intuition, listen to the downloads that are coming in, and follow where you're being guided, especially if you're being guided to work with somebody else, because that Libra energy is about partnering up with somebody. So do it. All right. I said I'm moving as fast because I want to spend more time on talking about this new moon. So then as we get to Friday, this is our new moon day. So I'm going to adjust this so that you can see it. There is so much to talk about with this new moon, and we almost can't talk about this new moon without talking about next month's new moon, which will be the new moon solar eclipse, also in the sign of Virgo at the last degree. So here we are on Friday, August 22nd it's 10 p.m. West Coast time, so you may be August 23rd, depending on your location, since this is a very late in the day new moon. But it's a 0 degree new moon, which means this is a complete reset, something that you're beginning that you know nothing about. This is a complete blank slate, and you don't even know everything you need to know. In fact, I don't think you'll know what you need to know until we get to that new moon solar eclipse. So this is a really good time to be setting intentions, to be comfortable with a complete change in your lifestyle, in your health, because this Virgo energy has a lot to do with health and healing. It also has, of course, a lot to do with the details and the facts. It can have things to do with control. This is a sign that's ruled by Mercury, and this would be Mercury's second home. Some say Chiron is actually more in alignment with Virgo, and some consider it to be a stronger ruler over this sign, and that's more to do with, of course, the healing piece of it. Mercury has all the information you need to do the healing, but Chiron was the coach, the one that showed you the way forward, the one that showed you how to leverage your wounds to help other people, and by helping others, you heal yourself. So there's something to do with health and healing. There can be a brand new perspective as far as health and healing goes. This is all going to have to do with, of course, wherever you have this happening in your chart. But whatever it is, don't think you know anything, because you don't, and you need to be really open-minded to what this new opportunity will bring for you. When you think about the number 0, of course, in the tarot deck, we have the Fool, and the Fool has to just take a leap of faith and trust the process and trust the journey. And that is what you are meant to do, especially because this is part of a yod. So this is a fated event, and a yod is created by typically 2 planets that are sextile one another and then in conjunct the third. But since this is a new moon, of course, we have the sun and moon. This new beginning, where this finger of God points, is to this new beginning. This is a fated new beginning, especially for those of you who have 0 degree planets. In Virgo specifically, you will feel this as if it's a calling, of a mission for you to complete this new opportunity. And by completed, I mean accept the mission. So this is your opportunity. If you've been struggling with health at all, you are going to be guided to what you need to do to heal. Now, the inconjunct planets, we were talking about this earlier. Now we have Pluto in Aquarius, and it's going backwards. It's back into that 1 degree. Again, another energy of a new beginning. And that can bring you together with groups of people that also need to work on the same healing journey that you do, and they would support you, but you would come across them in a very unusual way or in a difficult way. And then that energy, as we talked about earlier, also of Pluto speaking in harmony with Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries. And yes, both are still retrograde. So this has all to do with people and leadership, opportunities from the past, your dreams for yourself from the past. Somehow those dreams and the people that could support your dreams, your transformational journey, they're the ones that are working together with you to help guide you to this new beginning, but not directly. So much like an eclipse, to me, these inconjunct energies can be difficult, but they can also be a difficulty for somebody else that then opens up a door for you. So you'll, of course, have to watch and see how you experience this. But I do believe that this is a mission, right? Your finger of God, that you want to in some way complete by the time you get to the new moon next month that happens at 29 degrees. So we're literally supposed to move from this brand new beginning to something that we let go of, that we conclude, in order for this new opportunity to fully develop for us. So it is a completely intriguing month ahead. The other thing I like about, for those of you that experience this on the 22nd, is the number 22 is a master number. It's the master builder number. So we are building and creating something for our future with this new moon. Now, there, of course, are challenges and surprises in store. And I think this is why I've been leaning into it could be something that happens to somebody else that suddenly changes what's going to be open and available to you. This new moon here is squaring with Uranus in Gemini. This is big ideas, sudden information, secrets that are exposed, and it's all happening in a really shocking, surprising way. And remember, Uranus is still part of this mini triangle. So even though it's squaring this new beginning, it's still a part of this support group that you have going on beneath the surface, behind the scenes, helping to transform your life in some way. So even though there's surprises, there's challenges, there's weirdness, the weirder, the better. You don't want to try to keep doing the same old thing. It's not giving you what you're hoping for. So lean into the challenges. Don't be afraid of change, and be willing to take a leap of faith and start over somewhere in your life. Whatever house this is, you're starting over. You're starting fresh. You're literally have a blank canvas in front of you, and you get to paint the picture the way you want it to be going forward. But you have to listen, right? It's the finger of God when something's being pointed at you for you to begin. You have to get quiet. You have to get grounded. This is earth energy. Connect with the earth in order to understand the mission that is showing up for you. As I mentioned, Virgo's the ruler of this new moon. It is moving forward. It's not clear of its shadow yet. So there can, again, be this energy of the past that is guiding you. Or maybe it's the reason why you're tired of doing the same old thing and are ready to start something fresh and new. And when we talked about the Mercury retrograde, I kept hearing this is about connecting to the things that you loved about yourself in the past, the things that brought you joy, the things that you used to be passionate about. And so whatever you've been exploring over the past several weeks of the Mercury retrograde, there's something about those lessons that are going to help you gain the confidence that you need to take this leap of faith and start over fresh and new. So those are some pretty intense events going on for this new moon. And of course, it's not just us as individuals, it's us as collective. So there could be some kind of a health incident that comes up in a weird, strange way. And we shouldn't be afraid of it, but understand that whatever we're seeing or wherever we're exposed to, we need to see and understand in order to create this healing opportunity. So take care of your health. And this is a great time, as I said, to reconstruct your diet. Virgo energy is a healer. So is Pisces, the opposite sign. But I always tend to think of Pisces as the doctor and Virgo as the naturopath. And figuring out, how do you take advantage of both types of healing in order to have the full picture of what's available to you. It doesn't necessarily have to be one or the other, but there is some new mode of healing that potentially could become available to you at this time. All right. With that, let's jump ahead. And if you want to know more, of course, go read my article. It's in the August breakout, or it's standalone article for you as well, because I have little different pieces of inspiration depending on whether I'm talking to you or I'm writing to you. So it's always beneficial to look at both, and even more beneficial, book a session with me, because I am going to try to describe where the change may happen and where your new beginning may come from, but it isn't taking into account if you have planets in your natal chart that are being directly impacted by these things. And of course, the people who are going to feel it the most are the people with these early degree planets. These 0 to 2 degrees are going to feel this life-changing event more than others. But we'll all notice this, I am certain. And like I said, I strongly believe this is tied to the eclipse work that's coming next month. So this is just a time to tune in and truly understand your personal chart so that you can be prepared to do the work. All right, so as usual, we will go from Aries through Pisces, and I am not trying to cover off on the yod, but I am going to cover off on this new beginning and what challenge there is for you in order to create the new beginning, or maybe the challenge that happens to you and then the new beginning follows. Whatever the challenge is, don't be afraid of it. It's not about, astrology is never about being afraid. It's just about being prepared for change and then working with the energy. So all that being said, we start here with the sign of Aries. And Aries, for you, this happens in your 6th house, which, as usual, all the things that we already talked about from Virgo's perspective are what is available for you as far as this new beginning goes. Now, the 6th house is also the work that you do. So, Aries, this could mean that you are suddenly going to have this brand new career opportunity that is nothing like you planned, and it can seem to come out of the blue. And that is because of the fact that this Uranus energy is in your 3rd house of information and school. So let's say you were signed up, in fact, to start school maybe in September, and you had a plan. You knew what you were interested in. You've already registered. You've already paid, maybe. And then suddenly, as I mentioned, out of the blue, new details come to the surface. Maybe it's about the course. Maybe it's about something completely different. But as a result of that, you're going to completely change your mind about what you're going to be doing on the day-to-day as a result of this new opportunity. Because the sixth house is the work we do. It's the energy that we like to have a part of our daily life, which is usually associated with work, but it can be things to do with being of service. It can even have to do with your pets. It is all the details that you like, structure, organization in your day-to-day life, but something about all of that is about to change. And Aries, you're just going to have to go with the flow and realize that you're not in charge right now. Your mission is to let go of control and trust where you're being guided and accept the changes that are coming for you. All right. Next, of course, we have Taurus. And Taurus, this for you is happening in your fifth house. And the fifth house rules the heart. It can rule your children. It's all things that are associated with what you love, which could be a hobby. And so there is this literal blank slate in front of you where you can choose to follow your heart, not just the money. So if you didn't have to think about money, what would you choose to do? That's the question that comes up for you. And it comes up because of the fact that Gemini's in your second house. So there can be a surprise financial impact that causes you to question your whole path right now and get back to what speaks to your heart instead. Now, it could be an influx of money that comes to you, surprisingly. And because of that, instead of the work that you currently do, you may be able to get back to a hobby. Or maybe you just want to take that hobby and do something more with it, but you need the capital to launch it. Then that could come up for you unexpectedly and rather surprisingly. Now, just a word of caution. This is conflict, right? From the second house to the fifth house. You could have conflicts with your children over money, and that would bring up some kind of valuable life lesson for you and your children as you go through this financial struggle with one another. But this isn't the time to dig in, right? This is the time to make changes. And for instance, if you've been overly supporting a child financially, it's time for them to get on their own 2 feet. And so don't let conflict upset you. Step back and look at what's going on. Now, this could be a lover too, that again, you've been helping financially for some time, and it's not, you just can't do it anymore. And you're going to need to make a clean break from that. So lots of interesting things for you coming up, Taurus. Lots of possibilities. Let me know what ends up showing up for you. Then we have Geminis. And Gemini, this for you is happening in your fourth house of home and family. So for some of you, this is a new beginning. And it could be you moving somewhere. You could be buying a home for the very first time. You could be redecorating your home. This could also be you uncovering information about your ancestors. These are all things that are tied to home and family topics. And then the challenge, though, is in your first house. So if you have a difficult relationship with your mother, for instance, if you have difficult relationship with your family in general, there is this need to completely break free from your family and make up your own mind. So if you have the type of family who is very controlling, Virgo, of all of the choices that you want to make for yourself, this isn't going to work anymore for you, and you're going to want to break free from home and become more independent and think for yourself. There can be, like I said, shocking disagreements with the family members, shocking information that comes up that involves family, and this causes you to want to move out, to want to move on. So this is a interesting time. I don't know that I would actually move with this energy, but I might put a lot of time and energy into considering it. But wherever you're called to go, you may be moving completely across the country to start fresh and new. It's time to go. It's time to move on, and it's time to make your home what you want it to be, Gemini. Next, we have Cancer. And Cancers, this for you is happening in your third house. So the third house gives you a new beginning that has everything to do with learning, right? The third house is about communication. It's about the community that you're a part of. You could be somebody that decides to go back to community college and get some kind of certification. All of those types of things are possible. The challenge comes from the 12th house. So there is something that you're afraid of, something that is maybe keeping you stuck in the community that you're currently a part of. And as a result of finally breaking free from whatever that fear is for you, whatever that way of thinking is, whatever the subconscious blocks are, you're going to make a huge change. And you might shock everyone around you by suddenly speaking up and telling people you're not going to take it anymore. Because this, again, you have this blank slate, and how people perceive you and your knowledge, what you know, you can change all of that right now and become whoever you want when you have this new beginning in this third house. And you might just blow everybody away by changing your perspective on something that will literally shock everybody. This is something that's so ingrained in you and how people know you. And when you make this big shocking change, it's going to take the people around you a little while to adapt to this different side of you. And Cancer, you're so good at taking care of everybody else that you may suddenly be more focused on taking care of yourself and getting yourself out of situations that aren't healthy. And that is going to shock your people-pleasing crowd. All kinds of possibilities, but keep me posted on those, Cancer. Next, we have Leo. And Leo, this is a new beginning in the second house of the money that you make. And so that means you could be somebody who suddenly changes their job, quits the job that they're currently doing, or quits whatever you're doing that's creating value in your life if you're retired, for instance, and is called to do something completely different. So this can be, day-to-day life. When you have Virgo in your second house, you like everything very structured. You want to be in control of all the details. You want to have all the lists, right? And you are great at project management, for instance. But the challenge comes from your 11th house of the internet and networking and friend groups. And so there can be something, for instance, that challenges you. Maybe you have a channel like this, and for some reason you suddenly can't do it anymore. And because you lose access to your website, to this internet, and you have to rethink what you would do instead. So whatever the challenge is, don't be afraid of it. And in fact, the more different it is from what you've been usually doing, the better. And it could just be a friend who shocks you or challenges you to change what it is that you've been doing as far as your career goes, because it's not healthy and they're calling you out. And that's not a bad thing, so don't shoot the messenger. Trust that there will be people that will be put in your path to make you aware of what isn't healthy for you and what you need to change. And if you're not in the right job, now's going to be the time where, again, you might shock people by completely changing what you're doing. And maybe you become an internet personality and that shocks everybody. So just a few of the possibilities, but this is about you making choices for yourself, and that's not going to be too different, right, Leo? You are a big personality, but loosening up that control that you feel like you have to have over all the day-to-day things, that's actually going to help you network and connect with other people. And that's where you could really have big breakthroughs instead of still just trying to always do it on your own. All right. And then next we have Virgo. So Virgos, woo-wee, especially if you're an early degree Virgo, you have this huge personal transformation that you are about to go through. And as I keep saying, it could really shock people how you decide to change yourself. Your whole image may go through a tremendous amount of change because of the fact that Uranus energy is in your 10th house, which is your career, your fame, your notoriety. So this is your first house and your 10th house. This has everything to do with changing the way other people see you. So some of you may go through a incredible health makeover. This would be a time where you would go through a lot of weight loss that can be permanent. Instead of fluctuating up and down and up and down, now you would feel very committed to making a healthy change. And for some, again, whatever career path you've been on, you're done. Like, you're going to quit and change direction and shock a lot of people by walking away from a very lucrative career, but it just doesn't inspire you anymore. You don't feel aligned with what you've been doing. You feel stuck and trapped. And that Uranus energy in Gemini, so you've got Uranus in Gemini ruled by Mercury, your ruler, Virgos. So this is a time to be really open to new ideas, to shocking information, shocking offers that send you in a completely different direction than you've been in. And as I mentioned, if you're really early degree, especially 0 degree Virgo, this mission is going to feel like a calling for you. If you've been asking, who am I and what do I want and why am I here? Suddenly the answers are showing up for you. They come to you in odd, indirect ways. But once you absorb the information, you will quickly create a plan and create the structure, gather the people together to accomplish your dreams. So it's a big one, Virgos, and I can't wait to hear how it goes for you. Next, we have Libra. So Libra, this for you is a 12th house new moon. So these are shocking revelations that are going to be more of a psychological event. This can be things that come to you in dreams. This can be spiritual work. It could also be a new beginning that has something to do with some kind of a large institution. This could be something to do with something, legal, the justice system, because of course, the Libra energy and the 12th house being large institutions. I just think of the court system for some reason as what your new opportunity is. But it is a great time, again, for someone to do shadow work, to focus in on any of the subconscious blocks that have been holding you back for far too long. Now, Libras, the challenge, the surprising energy is going to happen up here in your 9th house. And the 9th house it could be something to do with your spiritual path. This could be some spiritual leader who challenges you in some way. Could have something to do with foreign people, foreign places. So if you have any legal dealings with people in foreign countries, there's something's coming up now that will be a really big challenge for you. And the 12th house also can be foreign people and foreign places. So this is something beyond the norm. This isn't something that is easily attainable either. It is out there. It's a real stretch for you to do whatever this is that's so new and different to you. And you're another sign that is very much about keeping everybody else happy and pleasing everybody else. But you're being challenged, right? You've got Saturn and Neptune over there across from you in your 7th house of others. And so it's other people that are helping you see what you're doing to yourself by just keeping everybody else happy instead of choosing you. So there could be a huge change and transformation in understanding how giving your power away every single day, making other people happy, is draining. And it's time to break out of that, break free from that. And you might even be somebody who decides you're moving to a foreign country to get away from it all. And that would shock everybody around you as well. So this one, really sit with it, because it could just all be subconscious work going on. But once you do the work, you're going to feel like you're not trapped anymore. Next, we have Scorpios. Scorpio, this is your 11th house of friends and networking groups. It can be mentors. So it's a new beginning. It can be you connecting with friends who are very outdoorsy, right? This is Virgo energy. And so it can be you finally finding the groups that you feel speak your same language and you feel like you belong. Now, the challenge is this 8th house, which is your energy of death, rebirth, transformation. So there is some kind of challenge, and the challenge could also be financial in nature, because the 8th house is money that comes to us from other people. There could be a friend that owes you money and isn't paying you back, and then there's this huge conflict. And then as a result of that, you may reset your priorities and make new friends. And this long life friend might be shocked that you'd finally be willing to walk away from them, because you've basically been siphoned off your energy years and years and years because of this friendship, and you've just had enough. And you'd rather let go toxic relationships so that you can find something healthy for you. And that means that this new friend could come from some odd, unexpected place too. So just be aware of very serendipitous events as far as your friend groups go. And think about making friends with somebody unexpected, not your normal type, and it will serve you well. Then we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this is a new beginning in your 10th house, which of course rules your career. It can have something to do with your marriage. It could have something to do with your father. But these are things that you achieve when we're talking about the 10th house. You've gained a reputation, and there is something about the career that you're a part of for some that needs to change completely at this time. And so there's that possibility for you, because of this Virgo healing energy, for you to maybe incorporate different modalities as far as healing goes, which might surprise people that you would consider doing, because you think you know everything, and this new information that comes up for you that has to do with healing, it's going to speak to you unexpectedly, and like I said, surprise you, because it's not textbook information. It's more spiritual in nature. Now, the challenge for you comes from your seventh house. So this is our marriage partners and our business partners. And it could be that maybe your spouse gets an offer out of the blue, but in order for them to pursue it, it may cause you to have to change your career. And of course, that will be conflict going on back and forth between the two of you, but just trust the process. Let this new opportunity in, and the possibilities of where it can take you. Just explore that over the next 30 days. Don't battle with each other or try to one-up each other. Just work through the challenges that this career change can bring and how it could affect your marriage. But trust, it'll be stronger in the end if you break free from what isn't making you happy now. Then we have Capricorn. And Capricorn, for you, this is happening in your ninth house of growth and expansion and higher learning. So some of you may have an opportunity to go back to school. Some of you may have an opportunity to go back to school in a foreign country, and you would be really surprising everyone around you if you just took off and did this, because you're very grounded and you usually just want to stay close to home. But it's the Uranus energy in your sixth house that is creating this need to break free and to change how you're living your day-to-day life and to do something completely different. Now, there could be shocking information for some of you that is involving your health, something that you need to take more seriously and change up your lifestyle as a result of this. And so this could send you on a journey of gaining more knowledge as far as your health is concerned as well. And again, you have to be open-minded. You have to let this information come in, and you have to have a lot of faith, whatever the challenge is to your day-to-day life, because of the fact that the new opportunity does happen in your ninth house, with ruled by Jupiter, has everything to do with our faith. But whatever the challenge is, once you overcome it, you grow as a person in some ways that are completely unexpected for you. All right, keep me posted, Capricorns. Then we have Aquarius. Aquarius, this is in your eighth house. So there is some major transformation that's, of course, already underway because of the fact that you've got Pluto going through your sign, and you're feeling frustrated. You're feeling like people don't understand. They're not genuine. They're not being real with you. And it is so frustrating. And so there is something that you're just done with. And you might find that you want to withdraw a bit from anything that you're a part of that just isn't stimulating you enough. And that can have you be in your little cocoon moment, right? So you spend these next 30 days withdrawing, going within, and figuring out what it is that you want to change and transform. What challenges you, or maybe where this is coming from, is because that Uranus energy is in your fifth house. So is the challenge about romance? Is it about your hobbies? Is it about your children? What is it that is making you feel like you just want to end all the things that don't make your heart feel good, so that you can start over fresh and new again? Because that's the opportunity. You literally are the Fool. This is your time to take a complete leap of faith and start fresh and new. So don't be afraid to just let everything burn to the ground. Not literally, please, but figuratively. Whatever you're embroiled in, because 8th house has a lot to do with power struggles, walk away from them, set all of that aside, and allow this complete rebirth and change to happen for you, and let your heart be your guide. Get out of your head. It's not gonna, you can't think this through. You have to feel it through, and that's the change that you have to make. And finally, we have Pisces. And Pisces, this is happening in your 7th house. So this is a complete new beginning as far as your relationships go, your serious relationships, your marriage. This is a reset point for you and your partner. Now, the challenge comes from your 4th house of home and family. So if you have maybe a mother-in-law who is way too involved in your marriage, and a spouse who lets that mother-in-law be way too involved in your marriage, then this would be the time where you would decide that the two of you are the priority, and that you aren't going to let family get in the way of your relationship any further. Now, if it's not in-laws or family that's causing the conflict, it could just be the home itself where you live. Maybe one of you is going to get a surprise job opportunity. You would suddenly have to move, and that would put a lot of stress and strain on the marriage. But it's the marriage, it's the commitment right now, this new commitment that you are going to make, that you have to make. You can't ignore this new commitment. It's coming to you for a reason. And even if it challenges you, even if it says, hey, to do it, we have to move, you have to move. The bigger and the scarier it is, the more you know it's what's meant for you. All right. That's all the signs. And of course, it's just some ways that it can show up for you. A lot of the influence is going to have to do with where this does actually happen. Of course, a 0-degree new moon, when we don't just look at whole sign houses, can easily fall in the house before or after that I just described. So it would really be beneficial, like I said, for you to book a session, especially as we're also leading into that new moon solar eclipse on September 21st. It's just a great time to understand the work you're doing and not to feel crazy anymore. And that's what astrology helps you do, is just not feel crazy, like things are going on for a reason. And if you can work with the energy, at least you can navigate the crazy a little bit easier. So definitely looking forward to working with those of you that I do work with regularly and see how your story's unfolding for you. All right, so that takes us through Friday, and we're not going to see too much different because of the fact that we're still going to see the sun here for a couple of days, and the sun's going to still keep this energy activated. Won't be at 0 degrees, it'll move to 1, but that just makes the yod stronger, and this conflict with Uranus and this sun, this ego self, it will continue for the next several days. And then when we get to Sunday, same thing, nothing big shifting and changing. The yod will start to slowly dissipate. And that's, of course, what we'll be looking at next week. And then pay close attention as the moon is speaking to the nodes Saturday, Sunday, because, of course, the nodes are what are activated when we're having eclipses. So you're starting to see South Node eclipse with that new moon next month is something that we're releasing in order for that new beginning to come in. So really tune in and listen to your guides and hear and feel what this journey is going to be about for you. So then we're into next week, and it is really going to be all about adjusting to what life is going to look like, especially for you that take this leap of faith and start heading in this brand new direction. And speaking of brand new directions, we will see Venus move into the sign of Leo, which she loves. Because, of course, this is about love and joy and passion. And so that's where you're focusing your attention on the next 3 weeks. And, of course, she's following in the footsteps of the Mercury retrograde. So as she moves through this sign, she's going to activate all that Mercury retrograde work for you. Yay! Again. And this time, you are connecting to what it is that you love, and now willing to do something about it, even if it scares you, because the first few days of next week, Venus, of course, will be having an intense conversation with Pluto over there in Aquarius. So, can you choose what you love over what your friends love for you? Yes, yes, you can. All right, so that will be the biggest energy that is going on next week, will be those changes. So we will, of course, come back and talk through all of it. And I look forward to being your guide as we go through, show up and do the work. And also, of course, next week, it's the end of August. I cannot believe how fast this year is going, even though it's so crazy and chaotic. I just think in some ways maybe we're wishing it to move fast so we don't have to deal with it. But that's what we're going to see next week. The wrap up of yet another month, and getting us closer and closer to what will be the first eclipse, which will be the full moon in the sign of Pisces, which will be even closer to the actual nodes. That new moon solar eclipse is going to be farther away, so it will be maybe less of a faded event, more of something that you want to step into for yourself. But the full moon lunar eclipse is very close to that north node. So again, there's emotional closure, emotional release that invites this new opportunity for you. So we'll talk about that, of course. But if you want to get a little preview of all of that, my September articles are already out there. So is the new moon solar eclipse and full moon lunar eclipse articles, so that you can start to prepare. And trust me, we're not done yet. Wait till we get to the new moon in Scorpio that happens to be a part of Mercury Cazimi. Mind blowing. So lots to come up with, and hopefully I'll have those articles out there and done for you to be able to peruse and look at ahead of time as well. So thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate your time and energy and sharing that with me. I truly love your referrals and love working with your friends and family. So thank you for sending people my way that can appreciate the work that we're already doing together. All right, guys, thanks so much. We will talk again next week, and let me know how it's going out there for you. And hopefully I'll see you in one of my daily videos. All right, take care, everybody.